Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Club Junkie Podcast. It's Thursday, and it's a special one. And I'm going to tell you why in just a minute, but before I do, I just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Titleist and the new Pro V1 golf balls. For the best in the world, the goal is to improve every day. Same goes for all of us dedicated to this game, and it starts with choosing a golf ball you can trust. The Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X have set the standard for performance, and now they just got better. Again. Both models are engineered with high gradient core technology that delivers lower long game spin for more distance and more consistent flight. And of course, you can expect that trusted drop and stop greenside control, so important to shooting lower scores. Pro V1 is the best combination of distance, spin, and feel in the game and delivers a more penetrating ball flight, while Pro V1X, the ball I usually play, flies higher and spins more in the short game, while still giving you the low spin on longer shots to maximize your distance. Outperform your best. Learn more about the new Pro V1 and Pro V1X at Titleist.com. So it's a special day. It is Thursday. Well, I'm recording this Wednesday night, but it is Thursday. And today is the first day of League. So League play starts. Unbelievable. I'm so excited. I know today is not going to be the most amazing day in terms of weather. It's not going to be like a hot, whatever sunny day. But it should be, let's check it out here because I didn't look before I started the show, but it should be 65. So, by the time we start, it'll probably be 65. By the time we end, it'll probably be a little cooler than that. Either way, I'm super excited. I'm excited to play. It's just going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. Most guys are back. We lost a couple guys, unfortunately. One, job stuff changed, so he had to kind of, he had to back out. He couldn't get off work again. Another guy, I think, moved, so he was just further away. So we had to lose two guys. We don't have anybody permanent. We got a couple subs, but it's going to be good. And we're rolling around. So our league, I know this is so today we're doing what's in the bag. First week, what's in the bag. That's what we're doing today. But just to kind of describe the league, if you don't know, if you haven't listened to the show before, I play in this men's league. Most of the guys, or I would say half of the guys, well, maybe not half, but the upper fourth will probably be more retired guys, guys who are a little bit older. Love playing, great group of guys, and then the rest of us are all, for the most part, kind of like me, in our 40s, maybe a couple guys in the 50s, but most of us in the 40s, a few guys in the 30s, and I think we have one guy who's kind of fresh out of college and playing, so it's a good mix, but we have fun. Most of the guys don't take it crazy seriously. There's a couple guys who do. You'll hear me reference the name Roger a lot throughout the year because he's the guy I play basically for $5 every week, and I got to give him 2 strokes. 2 strokes per 9, so which isn't horrible. I usually should beat him, but I mean, I'm only comfortable if I beat him if I'm shooting 39 or better. So we'll see. But it's individual. There's no team play. Individual, you get paired up with somebody with handicap. We do match play. So you win the hole with your handicap, you get 2 points. Tie the hole, you split it, lose it, you lose 2 points. So we do that. And then the only thing we're changing up this year, which I don't agree with, but everybody in the league, I guess, other than me, was against it, was if you win, the match, you win all, you win more more holes than the other person, you get bonus points at the end. And we had bonus points, and everybody was mad because you didn't give the person with the better net score at the end bonus points. So we switched that. So if you have the better net score at the end of the round, then you get the bonus points instead of winning the matches, which I think is kind of, I don't know, it's not my thing, but whatever. I was kind of outvoted. But we play at a place called St. Clair Shores Golf Course every Thursday night. So when this comes out in the morning, I'll tell you about last week, and we'll fire it up for this week. So this week is the first week. I'll do what's in the bag. I probably won't focus a whole lot on what's in the bag for most of the others, unless something's kind of crazy or worked or didn't work or whatever. I'm not going to do just full shows of what's in the bag because that would be stupid. But we're going to do what's in the bag because it's the first one. And I'm not going to lie to you. I came down to my basement and I've been thinking about it literally all day. So all day from work, everything, I've been thinking about my what's in the bag, what I'm going to bring, what I'm going to play. And it is for me agonizing. I don't know if it is for you guys. If you have a couple different sets of irons, you have a couple different sets of clubs or whatever, you have different pieces, and you kind of like to rotate it out. I overthink it. I go way too far into it, but I agonize over what's in the bag, and it's, for me, a lot of fun, though. I love it. So this is going to be my week one right out of the gate. We'll see what happens because one of the guys I was supposed to play on the schedule I dropped out, so I'm gonna have to see who I'm playing this week. But it'll be good. So I've got my bag. I'm gonna kind of start from putter down, or putter up in a sense. I'm gonna start with putter. We'll work our way up to driver and kind of go through everything that's going in the bag. The bag that I will be using, because I've actually had some few questions on bags lately. I've got the brand new Callaway Fairway Plus. This is the 2024 model. I don't know what color it is. It's kind of like this tan, gray, and orange, burnt orange. It's pretty sweet. It's got the Club Junkie logo on it behind the ball pocket. Thanks to my boy Austin over at Callaway, got that set up. But this bad boy is set up for. You see it? It's got this. As I'm trying to drop it, it's basically got this whole lowrider system that basically the legs are mounted lower on the bag. So if you're somebody who uses a push cart, like a 3-wheel, 4-wheel push cart, or in my case, an electric Moto Caddy electric cart, this thing is designed to fit on there. And I had last year's model, and I loved it. I used it for, a season and a half, something like that. And then the new one came out. Like I said, my buddy Austin told me about it. I saw him actually at the Paradigm AI Smoke launch, the driver launch, when I was down there. He had them all down. At that launch, he had them all set up, and we were checking it out. I didn't know this colorway was there, and I didn't tell him. I was just like, yeah, I want one with my logo on it. He was like, no problem, and set it up. So this thing is a really great bag. If you're a person who uses a push cart or anything like that, it works really, really well. And then, just all around, it's a nice bag. The top of it has this, like, brand new system called like shaft shield. It's kind of like a rubber. He was telling me like they did something like 10,000 shaft like inserts, extractions, and all that just to see the wear, and it doesn't wear. So it's a really well built bag. Got a heavy, nice handle to pick it up with, and good pocket space. It's not a crazy huge bag. It kind of rides that line of like minimalistic bag and crazy big staff bag or anything, but it's got enough pockets for rain gear and stuff like that. Because I'm a little bit of a pack rat. I bring a lot of stuff. A lot of room for that, but just a really well-built bag. My last year's one, I mean, honestly, I could probably give it away because it looks so good. I mean, there's maybe a touch of wear on the legs from, like, putting it on an actual, like, riding cart. But other than that, it's in phenomenal shape. So this one, really love the color. I think it looks awesome. So everything will be going in this because I will be rocking the Moto Caddy M7 remote. That has been my trolley, as they call it, for the past, I think this is my third or fourth year with it. I think third year with it. I've had it 2 years, been using it. I use it every Thursday. I love the thing. It's basically an electric cart with a remote control that you hold on to, and you just drive it down the fairway. It is absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, Moto Caddy's a company out of the UK. They've got a couple different models of electric carts, but the M7 is the one with the remote, and I think they make 2 models of it now. They just came out with one with a GPS screen. So you get, not only can you drive it up your ball, stop, have all the what do you call it, yardages, all that on it. Mine doesn't have the GPS screen, but it's really great. I've loved it. It's been rock solid. It is just a really solid unit. I love it. I know a buddy of mine who just got one. He loves it. So a really solid unit. If you're looking to go down that road, definitely check out the Moto Caddy. It's really good. So I'm going to put everything in this Fairway Plus, and the Fairway Plus is the one with the 5-way top. They make a Fairway 14 as well. It has a 14-way top if that's your style. Either way, I don't like 14 ways. I just bring too many clubs usually. But we'll start at the bottom, and we're going to start with putter. And this one I think is going to be the biggest surprise. I know I've talked about a bunch of putters, talked about a bunch of different putters that I have that I've messed around with. I know you guys on Q&A days on Instagram asked me a lot about a lot of the putters I've been using. If you're not on Instagram, follow me, please do at Club Junkie Pod. We do cool Q&As and all that. But, the putter I'm going with, after kind of going through the bag, because I've got a bag of putters that are kind of in the rotation, it came down to 2 of them, and I'm going with something I haven't played in a while, but it is the Odyssey AI1 milled, and this is the 8TS. So AI1 milled. So if you're not familiar with the AI1 stuff from Odyssey, this is the faces that were designed by AI, basically created to keep ball speed consistent across the face no matter where you hit it. And then this is the milled version, so it's got kind of this bronze milled metal face on it. There also is a standard AI1 that has a more traditional kind of AI insert that's very similar, kind of white hot. It's a little bit softer. It's made out of kind of like a polyurethane. or a TPU, whatever it is. But yeah, so this is the 8T, which is kind of just a pretty simple mallet. I think when they had this under the Toulon, it was called like the Le Mans, but this one here is now called the 8T, and then it's the 8TS because it's got the little slant neck. So it's got a little bit of toe hang when you put it down. It kind of has toe hang very similar to a mallet or to a blade, but I do have to say when I went to the launch for these putters, they did like kind of little fittings on this massive putting green down in Frisco, Texas, at the PGA kind of headquarters in the new one, and I was there with one of my really good friends, John Hovis, and we were messing around and kind of doing a little fitting, and we found that this putter, which wasn't even on my radar, I thought I was going to be a 7 guy for sure. I got this thing started online really, really well down there, and we basically kind of figured out a lot of it came down to the big single sight line that was unbroken. And where it breaks on other models, I guess that throws my eye off a little bit. So this single full line, I line up really well, which also makes sense because my TaylorMade Spider X prototype is the same way, and I putt really well with that. I line that up really well. So this thing here is a good putter. It's got really crisp, good feel to it. I think there is, I mean, I know, marketing, all that, everybody's leery. I honestly think that this is, the face actually does do something when you hit it, miss it on the face. I feel like it keeps ball speed pretty consistent. I think it does do it. Now, is it going to make you make every putt that you hit off the toe? Probably not, but I think it does keep that ball speed fairly consistent. But I like the shape and all that, and this one is shafted up with a UST all-in putter shaft, the one with the metal tip, because this is a slant neck, but it's all-in, so half graphite, half steel, and it's got a Super Stroke Zenergy Pistol 2.0 on it. This is a little big. I have a feeling this may leave the putter at one point. I put it on. It's brand new. I haven't. I messed with it a little bit last year when I did a review of these Zenergy pistols. But it's a little big. I don't know. We'll see how it goes out on the course again this year. I put it decent with it. It kind of calms the hands, but it's just big compared to everything else I use, which is pretty traditional grips like Lamkin deep edge cords. For the Super Stroke stuff, I've always used like the Pistol GT, the GT Tour, which is kind of the smallest one. But this one here, definitely a little bit bigger, but the larger one there does kind of calm the hands a little bit. So this is going to be the putter that rolls all night. And I've only played with this thing one time. I played 18 holes with it. And I tell you what, I didn't make a whole lot of putts, but I putted really well. I got it around the whole day. I just didn't really drop anything. So I haven't used it since. That was, back in like November or something like that, or December. So I haven't used it in like 4 months. And we're going to break it out again. But I do like the feel. Like I said, I think this is kind of a slightly firmer, crisper feel. But it's still got a little bit of Odyssey softness to it. So excited to go with this bad boy. It's kind of a dark navy blue. But the 8S or the 8T is going in. Pretty much because I haven't used it in 4 months. And everything else I've kind of used a little bit more recently. So it was between that, the backup that I was going to bring was the Adele F2. I was going to go bring that. But I had to put it together, and that was already together. So I just grabbed that. Sometimes, though, I don't bring 2 putters, so who knows? The Adele might make it with me and just, go to the putting green. We'll see what happens, and then whichever one wins out, goes into the bag. The putter is going to be the Odyssey AI1 milled 8TS. So that one there. And then we move into wedges, and wedges is going to be a mix. It's going to be a hodgepodge. So I had choice. I was either going to bring a mixture of a bunch of wedges, or I was going to bring my SM10s. And I kind of thought about it, and I was just like, you know what? It's the first week. Things are going to be a little sloppy. It just rained here today, so things are going to be a little wet, a little nasty. The bunkers are going to be a little rough. I went and played St. Clair Shores last week on a really nice night with a buddy of mine, and the bunkers were in rough shape. They hadn't been like kind of raked through. There were a lot of stones and stuff like that on the surface. So I don't really want to bring the SM10s. I want to wait until the conditions get a little bit nicer. Even though soul grind wise, they probably fit on how the conditions are going to be a little bit better. But we'll start with the 60 because all 3 wedges are different shafts, different everything. They're all different, which is the way I like to roll. So the 60 degree is going to be the TaylorMade Mill Grind 4 Tiger Woods grind 60. So this is the basically 11 degree 60 11 degrees of bounce, 60-degree loft. You can see it's got a really nice kind of pre-worn leading edge that TaylorMade mills in there, and I really like this wedge. I got it last year, and I really like the way it plays. It's a great 60 degree. You can kind of play it square, press it forward, and that pre-worn leading edge allows you to kind of get under the ball on a tighter lie. You can kind of play it open. It's got like a full sole, so out of the bunker it plays really well. And then square shots, it doesn't dig too much. So the raw milled face on this thing spins really well. Mine still kind of feels like sandpaper. When you first get these things, it is literally like sandpaper. But yeah, it's totally going to look different than the other wedges, just because it's got the more squared off toe. But overall, I really like this 60 anyway. This thing, the 56 and 60, I played a lot with these at the end of last year. They're really good. I think the MG4, they've really improved the sound and feel on it. If you hit it next to the MG3, much softer. But these things here spin and perform really well. I'm not a guy who opens up the 60 really crazy, so it's, with this kind of, fuller, wider sole, as you open it up, that leading edge will come off the ground a little bit. But St. Clair Shores isn't super tight. It's a little bit lush. It's going to be wet. So having that little bit extra sole out of the, those kind of more lush lies is no problem. And, when I hit this thing, I do take a little bit of a divot, so it gets to the turf pretty well. But a great spinning wedge, just a really high performing wedge. And again, if the grind's good enough for Tiger, it's good enough for me. So this is the 60 degree, 11 degrees a bounce. It's got just the dynamic gold, the tour issue Wedge 115, which, is pretty interesting. I mean, tour issue Wedge 115, it's in every one of these. But that's what's in it. And then the grip is just kind of a lambkin kind of 360, a lambkin crossline 360. So nothing too fancy there, but just overall a nice wedge. I like this thing, and this in the 56 will probably go. You'll probably see it in the bag a lot throughout the year. So that goes in. Then we move to sand wedge. And sand wedge is going to be something that it wasn't really on my radar to go play, but I was out hitting balls on Master Sunday, and I was hitting balls into my net, and I brought out a couple wedges just to hit wedges, warm up, whatever. And it kind of reignited that I really like this wedge, and that is going to be the Ping S159. And this is going to be the 56 H grind, the H grind, which is 10 degrees of bounce. Kind of looks like a little bit of a C grind or M grind from Vokey. It's got a good amount of trailing edge relief, heel, toe, and on the center. But a really versatile grind, a wedge that you can kind of open up a little bit, play it open, play it closed, but there's still a decent amount of bounce. I mean, even though it says 10 degrees, it plays like a little bit more. That was my I did a review on it on a previous podcast, but even though it says 10 degrees, I was a little intimidated by that. I got it out on the course early in the year when it was really soft, and it played really well. It actually gets to the turf better than I thought. It doesn't really dig as much. I think it plays, more like a 12-degree bounce than it does 10. But a versatile club, really good. The face on this thing spins really well. Out of any lie, whether it's a tight fairway lie where you can hit some really high spin shots, or even out of the rough where you're going to get some of that grass and moisture in between the ball and the face. Still puts a decent amount of spin on it. Good feel to it. It's soft. It's interesting. Hitting it off a mat, it feels and sounds way different than when you hit it off the turf. When I first got it, this because I have got a 60 degree too. Take both of them out, hit them, and I was like, man, they feel kind of harsh, whatever. Got it out to the course, totally different wedge. Off mats with crappy range balls, these things feel a little rough. When you get it out with a real golf ball out on a course, on dirt, on grass, plays really, really good. Much softer, way better feel. So overall, really like this wedge. I think the S159s are the first wedges from Ping that I've actually really liked. Real traditional look. Somewhat straight leading edge to hair roundness to it, but really versatile. Played a little bit open. It plays out of the bunker well, but it does kind of a little bit of everything. And in the soft conditions, it should offer some good turf interaction. So this one here will be the sand wedge, the 56. And again, we've got, and this one here has got the basically just the standard ZZ115 Ping shaft that's made by Nippon. It's got that in there, so again, another 115 gram shaft. And this one has that Ping wedge grip that's actually a little bit longer. I think it's like an extra inch or something like that. So when you choke down, you can play some kind of choke down shots and not have your hand on the shaft, which I've always thought it was kind of gimmicky, and the more I kind of used it and messed around with it, I don't choke that far down usually where I'm anywhere near the shaft of the club, but it is kind of nice choking down and seeing that there's still a good amount of grip there at the end, and it doesn't have a ton of taper to it either, so it's pretty straight, so the feel of it stays pretty consistent even if you choke down a little bit to hit different shots with it. So a really good wedge, really I just like it, and hitting it out of the mat, it kind of reminded me that I did like it, so it was sitting over there, and I just grabbed it. There was a few different ones there. I almost went the PXG Sugar Daddy 2s for the 5660 with the full face grooves because you can kind of hit it anywhere. I don't like the 50 in those because it looks different with the full face grooves than the 50. The shape isn't bad or anything. It's just, and they perform awesome. I just don't like the 50 being. I wish the 50 had standard grooves on it. And then we move to the Gap Wedge, and the Gap Wedge is actually an SM10, but it's an SM10 08 F grind, so this is the pretty standard one that you'll see just about everywhere. But yeah, this one here is just a chrome head. My set is 3 raw heads, raw finish. This is just a chrome one. They set it for media samples, but the 5008F. But I've been messing around with this one a lot because it's got a UST Dart V Concept 105 wedge shaft. And I've been hitting this again a lot on my mat, and it's really good. The feel of this thing is really solid. It knocks off a good amount of vibration. And these Dart Vs come out low. They come out flat, but they still have some spin. And this thing here, I've been hitting on my mat. I've been hitting at the range a lot, and it's a solid wedge. I mean, the 5008F grind is going to be full sole anyway. You're going to get a decent amount of bounce to it. Even though it is 8 degrees, I feel like it bounces, still plays, I think, a little bit more of that. And I don't really open the wedge or up or anything like that. This is pretty much square shots, and it also has kind of a, I don't want to call it pre-worn leading edge, but there's a little bit of a radius there on the front edge that kind of prevents some of that digging. Grooves, of course, SM10s spin really well from just about anywhere, but a really versatile wedge. I'll play it a little bit around the greens, but again, it's square, kind of little chip shots. If you just come up short of the green or something like that, or just on the side where you've got a little green to work with, I'll use this to kind of just chip it on and that. It's something I've been doing more lately. It's kind of chipping with 50 degree and my pitching wedge. So something I'm trying to do more, just keep the ball, less or more out of the air, closer to the ground. I'm not trying to just putt it everywhere, but I've noticed that you do gain some consistency when you try to keep it a little closer to the ground on certain shots. But the USD Dart V is really solid. I've got these in the full set in the Vega irons, and they're really, really good. So I got those, and then the grip on this one is a Rip It Take a Trip, which is kind of a wild looking grip. It's got all sorts of different melting clocks and a mushroom and just some crazy stuff on it. But they're actually pretty good grips. They're soft. They've got pretty good traction to them. They seem to hold up well. I put a few of these on some driver shafts, and they've held up really well. And they're nice. They're a touch thicker than kind of a traditional grip, and they don't quite taper as much. The lower hand tends to be just a little bit on the bigger side, but not MC4 or MCC4 +4 size, but it's just a hair bigger. Like you would put maybe one extra layer of tape on that lower hand. So that's the 50 degree, really impressive. I've actually been using this a decent amount as just kind of a wedge to kind of practice with and all that, because it kind of fits similar to what's in my bag. And if I wear out a media sample wedge, I don't really care that much, but be nice out there on the course. And that'll be the 3 wedges. Pitching wedge will match the set because that's just, I used to play like what do you call it? A sand wedge style pitching wedge, but they come in at 46 degrees. It allows it to bend them a little strong, adds a little offset. And also I found that I'm not consistent enough. I hit the pitching wedge to the set a little bit better just because it matches the set. Sometimes it has a little more speed or a little more distance or a little more forgiveness built into it. So I'm matching the pitching wedge to the set. So then we move into irons, and irons are going to be the Ping Blueprint S. So the Blueprint S, I think I kind of mentioned on my last podcast that these were probably going to make it in the bag for this showing. I've been hitting these a ton on the range. I really like them. A ton of the range on my mat. Really solid irons, definitely more playable than I thought. After you saw all the guys on tour playing these things, I was pretty nervous that these were going to be super high demanding, tough to hit and all that, but they're really not. They're pretty easy to hit. They're a little longer blade length, a little bigger than, say, the Blueprint Tees. but they've got a little cavity to them, little perimeter weighting, and they feel great. Ping did a good job in terms of the forging. They feel really soft, and they've got a little forgiveness to them. I also think these are probably one of the best looking Ping irons ever made. They've got just a smidge of offset to them. The top line's pretty thin. Boxy toe, which isn't necessarily my thing all the time, but I think they did a nice job with it, and there's a lot of better players who do like that boxy, more squared toe. But overall, just a really good-looking iron. And the faces don't look crazy thin. They've got some face depth to them, so you feel like if you do catch it a little high on the face or something like that, you're still going to get some performance. All milled faces, and they're just really solid. So excited to play these to get them out of the the range time, the mat time, and move on to the actual course play. So we'll see about some actual turf interaction and all that. But I'm expecting these things to be really, really solid. And then these are coming just with dynamic gold 120s, S300s. These are just what came stock in it. And usually I'm not a dynamic gold S300 guy, but this combination I've been hitting really well, and I've had a decent amount of sets of iron shaft sets that I could have put in here and just haven't needed to because I've hit these really, really solid. So I'm going to play 5-through pitching wedge in these. The 4-iron will be something different, but 5-through pitch will be the Blueprint S's. And they're pretty good. And on these, they're just basically Golf Pride Tour Velvet 360s. So my usual kind of go-to grip is just this. It's pretty simple. I don't need anything crazy fancy or anything like that. So these will be the set irons, and I'm pretty excited to finally get out and hit them on the course and play them. So more than just some range time, and so then we'll get into the 4-iron and the rest of the top end of the bag. But before that, have you heard of this company, Olakai? Olakai. It's 2 Hawaiian words that mean comfort and ocean, and their shoes deliver. They're making golf shoes now that are as comfortable as their legendary sandals. I'm a big sandal Olakai guy. I've been wearing them for I don't even know how many years, but a long time. I've got like 3 or 4 pairs. So yes, they are legendary comfortable. If you haven't tried them, definitely try them. But maybe you've seen them on the Bryan Brothers or Grant Horvat. Take it from us, you will never want to take them off. Available in both men's and women's, waterproof leather and sporty styles, spikeless. They make them all. They've got a bunch of different options. Get a pair now at olakai.com. So, yes, I've been wearing their sandals forever. They are just extremely comfortable shoes. So, check out the olakai.com. Check out the golf shoes. They did a really cool thing for the Masters last week with the Lone Palm collection. And, they've got some pretty awesome stuff. So, super casual, super comfortable. Check out Olakai golf shoes. So now I move into the top end of the bag, and for the 4-iron, a lot of you guys know I've been kind of using utility irons, even though I told everybody I wasn't a utility iron guy for the longest time. Like, it's just not me. It's not my thing. I'm more of a hybrid guy. This one, I almost went hybrid here in the 4-iron. I was going to put the PXG Black Ops 4 hybrid that I have. It's got a KBS Prototype 85 in it. But decided to go a little different, and a utility that's kind of been sneaking up on me lately, because I've also, and when it comes to utilities, I've got the Ping Eye Crossover, and I've been a big fan of that. I think the Eye Crossover is just a phenomenal, forgiving, easy to hit, long utility iron. But I've been kind of sneaking this guy into the bag, which is the new Mizuno Pro Fly High. So this is the new one that just came out, replaces the old one. It's a little shorter heel to toe, a little bit more compact, but this is the 4, which I believe is 22 or 23 degrees. I don't remember exactly, but all black. The last one was an absolute cannon, but it was, for me, really tough to hit it off the turf. Off the tee, it was an absolute monster. You could hit it anywhere. It just launched. This thing still got really good ball speed, but I think it launches a little bit higher, a little bit more playable, and I think that little bit more compact size gives you a little bit better turf interaction, and it's super easy to hit off the turf, off the tee. I think it's a little bit more versatile. It does fly higher, though, for those players who are looking to hit lower penetrating bullets. The previous gen Fly High would probably be the one to try, but this new one's really good. I think the sound and feel on this one's a little bit softer as well, a little bit more muted sound, but overall just a really good 4-iron that you can throw in the bag, add a little firepower, add a little horsepower to the top end, and for me that works out really well because I don't hit like I don't hit my irons very far anyway, but the top end of the bag in terms of irons is always starts to bunch up a little bit, so the utility irons can tend to help with that. And this one here, I'm just rocking the stock steel fiber HLS 880. This is just their basically long iron shaft or hybrid long iron shaft, so probably 85 grams, but it's kind of mid-high launching, and it's got pretty good feel. It's pretty consistent. It matches up well with the steel fiber 110s that I have in my T1 150s. But overall, just a good shaft from Aerotech, a little lighter. I was gonna swap it out for something, but I was gonna put the Fuji. I have a Fuji Pro 95 stiff that's in the old version of this head that I was gonna pull out and put in here. But I was hitting this one really well, so I'm gonna leave it the way it is for right now. That change may happen eventually. I also have a Fujikura Ventus HB Blue 8 X that I could put in here as well. So both those are definitely options. And then this one here, of course, just gripped up with a Golf Pride MCC black gray that was just kind of stock on it. I do to say, I'll give Mizuno one little knock. The shaft and grip are a little bit set a little bit kind of open, or they make the head just a little bit closed if you set them square. So when you set this down, the shaft and the grip are going to be just a little bit to the right. But when you look down on this head, I like it. It doesn't have a ton of offset. You only see a little bit of the back muscle. The top line's not too thick when you come to when you put it up next to other utility irons. But overall, really good package, and I've been hitting this thing well. Since, like I said, it's kind of snuck into the bag. I didn't think anything was really going to knock out the Ping Eye crossover. I thought the Cobra King Tech utility had kind of a chance. It was doing pretty well. The T200 is really, really solid there, but this thing has kind of snuck up and been really, really solid. So that's going in as the 4-iron to match up with the Blueprint S's. Then we move into the next club there. Now this usually, depending on, usually it's a 7-wood in this spot, depending on where I play. But we're playing St. Clair Shores and we're playing the front 9. So the front 9 means there is no shot that I'm going to have for a 7-wood except off the tee. And off the tee, the 7-wood's okay, but I feel like a hybrid sometimes plays a little better off the tee for me. It's slightly deeper face, a little more penetrating flight, make it a touch more roll out of it. So instead of going 7-wood, and like I said, there's just no, on the front 9, there's a long par 5, but if you hit a good drive, you're still going to probably hit 3-wood there, unless it's crazy downwind. You're just not going to hit 7-wood on that course, especially off the deck from anywhere, unless you just absolutely top a ball or something like that. But hopefully that doesn't happen. So this week we're going to go with the TaylorMade QI10 Tour Rescue. So yep, the little guy with the adjustable hosel, 19.5 degrees. So I think this is the 3. But really good look. I like what I know it looks a lot like the Stealth 2 from last year. They didn't really change up a whole ton about it. They did make the black paint on it, though, smooth. The other one had kind of almost like a snakeskin look to it. This one's back to the smooth gloss black finish. I think it looks really good. It's compact. It's small. But in the 3, the 19 degree, it still goes pretty well. I hit this a couple times down at the launch event, and it was pretty easy to hit. It was definitely more forgiving and kind of higher launching than I thought it would be. It's got a forged twist face on it. Again, adjustable hosel. I'm going to leave it at 19.5 degrees, but I like the look. It's kind of got that little more boxy kind of Adams look to it. And overall, I think they cleaned it up just a little bit compared to Stealth 2. A little more sleek. And this one here is basically, I think, in the stock shaft, just a Mitsubishi Tensei AV Limited 75 hybrid shaft and stiff. So nothing crazy there. It's kind of got that matte finish on it, which I kind of like. I think the Tenseis look pretty good in matte finishes. And then the grip is, again, just that TaylorMade Z grip. Looks like a Z cord, no cord, but done in blue, set logo down. But I'm going to leave it standard at 19.5 and 19.5 degrees and just leave it as it is. But it sounds good, feels good. It's got the speed pocket on the bottom. So, better players typically like this thing a lot. It usually doesn't have a whole lot of left to it. So this thing will go back in the bag. And realistically, this thing could be my T-ball. I'm going to hit this off the tee probably on 2, 3, 4, probably 4 if it's into the wind. And then maybe 5, but that'll probably be 3-wood. But I mean, this thing off the tee is going to be basically at least 2 to 3 holes, depending on what it is. Heck, if one is crazy downwind, I've been known to hit hybrid off there just to kind of keep it in play. But that's usually a 3-wood shot. But I said 2, 3, maybe 4, depending on where the wind is, are all going to be basically, hey, this thing's going to have a shot. 2 and 3 for sure, and then 4 is iffy depending on the wind. Because there's a pond that comes into play at like 2. I mean, I can still hit this because it basically goes like 210, 250, something like that. There's a pond that comes into play at like 220. I can't quite get it there unless it's like downwind or the wind's funky. But if the wind's into us, I'm hitting this. So this is going to get a lot of play off the tee. Off the deck, I probably won't hit it at all. I mean, maybe I guess the par 5 if for whatever reason I have to like punch out from the trees and I've got that yardage there. But for the most part, this thing's going to be a tee club, and that's where I think it shines a little more than the 7 would. So that's going there. And this one was between this one and the Paradigm AI Smoke from Callaway. The AI Smoke, though, I just want to hit it a little bit because it's an 18 degree, and it seems pretty hot. So I just want to see distance-wise where that goes. I might have to turn that one up 1 degree just to see. But the QI10 Tour Rescue is going in the kind of 3-iron to 7-wood type spot. That's where it goes. And now we move into the last 2. So the last 2 are going to be 3-wood and driver. 3-wood, again, is a club that I've had 3 or 4 3-woods laying out here of what I was going to play. And then I basically put them all away, and I went and grabbed this. And basically, I know I've talked about this club a lot, and I'm going to bring it back out. I haven't played it since, was it January or something like that, end of December? Whenever PXG launched their Black Ops, it is the PXG Black 0311 Black Ops 3-wood. So this thing here is the 15-degree head. It is set 1 degree up, so it's set at 16 degrees, and I believe it's 1 degree up and flat. Is the setting, I think it's 1 degree and like partially flat. I think that's what the setting is. I'd have to pull it off again. I know it's 1 degree up for sure. Weight settings are pretty neutral, but this thing here is, it's just a really good 3-wood. It's super forgiving. It's easy to hit out. You can hit it off the deck. It goes high. You can hit it off the tee. It goes high, but it doesn't go too high and overspin or anything like that. I hit this thing down when I played. We played like 27 holes down at in Scottsdale when they launched these things. And I hit this thing really well. It was probably out of everything in the bag, I probably hit this the best. And this thing won me. They did a little Black Ops. They called it the horse race, but they did like kind of an elimination thing where you played holes and they just eliminated people with the higher scores. And ended up winning the thing with this club on the 18th hole, or the 9th hole. It was number 18, from 230. Off the tee, onto the 18th green, hit it to 8 feet, and won. So the guy was playing, left it out a little right, missed the green, had to hit 2 chip shots, and I won. So definitely the person's a better player. It was Mr. Short Game, and he's a way better player than me. He just basically, didn't hit the green. I got lucky, hit 1 shot. If I played that guy 10 times, he'd beat me 9. So he's a super nice guy too, him and his son. I think I said that. But this thing, it's just a really versatile 3-wood. It's a little on the bigger side. It's got a little deeper face. But even with that deeper face, it's one of the few deeper face clubs I can hit off the deck and still hit high. It sounds good, feels good. It's got the carbon fiber crown, all that. But a really solid 3-wood head, and it's shafted up with a graphite design VR7 stiff. This thing I think is playing right at 43 inches. Golf Pride Tour Velvet 360. But, just a really solid 3-wood. I do have to say the guy who fit me into this, Chris Reedy, who's a fitter for PXG, is just a phenomenal dude. Fit me into this thing, and as soon as we basically, handed me this combo and we started hitting it, we just kind of knew, like, there it is. But, it looks good when you set it down. It's a little more on the rounded side like PXG stuff typically is. But overall, just really solid. And again, I haven't hit this thing in like 4 months. And I know I talked a big game about it, about how much I liked it. So, again, this will probably be T-ball on 1. And then probably T-ball on 6, and then who knows on 5. If I'm in the fairway, whatever, maybe we go for the green. I'm always that jerk who waits for the green to clear, and then I don't hit a great shot, and it comes up like crap, and I look like an idiot. But yeah, going with the 311, the 0311 Black Ops 3-wood, and we'll see if there's still a little magic from Scottsdale left in it, because I hope there is. So that's going there. And then, the final club in the bag. I can't believe this. I've rambled on as long as I have. But the final one in the bag is Driver. And Driver, we're going Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Max. Yep, the Max head. I know I've been talking a lot about the Triple Diamond lately, and that's what I've been hitting the most. But this is the Max head, and we're going with this one because, it's first night out in the league. I want to have a little bit of forgiveness, so we'll throw that out there. And, we're going with the Smoke Max, set to standard. Everything's a 10.5 head. The weight is slight. I guess I moved it slight to fade. I think I was messing around with it on one of my Instagram lives. Moved slight to fade, but it is pretty much neutral. Set neutral 10.5. And shafted up with the Artera Blue. So the Artera Alpha 1 Blue, this is the brand new shaft from, Alex D, who used to work for Fujikura. He did all the Ventus stuff, and now he is on his own, doing his own thing with Artera, and this is called the Alpha 1. This is the Alpha 1 Blue, and then there's a gray. The blue's got the slightly more active tip section. It's not quite as stout, but it still has some spread toe fabric in the tip. They have a spread toe bias core that runs like the whole length, so it's supposed to be ultra stable. I've been hitting this thing a little bit in my QI10 standard head, and really liking the shaft feels really good. It's solid. It's smooth, and it just kind of gives a good feel of just, hitting the ball hard. And, so we're going to put it in the AI Smoke Max head and see how it goes. So this head here is the one. I haven't hit this one on the course yet. I've just been hitting it on the range, but it's really forgiving. It launches high, but it's not crazy high spin. It's kind of the jack of all trades. It just does it all really well. Excited to get this thing out there and paired up with this shaft. We could have some good long straight drives that are kind of mid-flight and low spin. So a good setup here. I'm pretty excited for it. And this one grip wise, or this one here is playing 45 inches, no tipping. And then this one here grip wise is my old trusty King Grasp grips that I got off Amazon that are cheap, basically knockoffs of Tour Velvets. They're a little rougher. They're a hair bigger as well. I would say it's almost like a small wrap of masking build-up tape underneath there. But they hold up pretty well. They're dirt cheap, and with as many shafts and stuff I go through, they're just easy to buy and throw on here because you just, if it's a club that you're only going to hit for like a week or two, and then it's, going to kind of the storage area, you don't care that it's a cheap grip. So, but this setup's pretty good. I'm excited. I basically was going through a ton of different setups. It was so many. I was pulling shafts off the wall, whatever, and but settled on this one because I want to see, forgiveness wise, give me something that's easy to hit and also still pretty long. So this will be, I think, a good combo. The Callaway Paradigm AI Smoke Max with Artera Alpha 1 Blue. That is the full bag. So that is what I'm rocking. That is what I'm going with. Ball wise, I don't know. I might break out the new Bridgestone ball. I want to try that. I know heard good things about it. They've got some cool new tech, so I might break out one of the new Bridgestone, either the Tour BX or XS. We'll see which one, but I think I'll break out one of those and give those a whirl as well. But that is the bag for the first league night. Again, I'm not going to go through and do this every week, but that is the bag. That's a reason why this stuff's going in, and I know it was long, but hey, that's just what it is. So that's all I've got for today. If you're watching on YouTube, please, if you want to watch this on YouTube, search Club Junkie. You can see me put clubs in front of the screen. And that's pretty much what it is. But if you want to watch it there, if you could subscribe, that'd be awesome. Like the video. Same thing with the podcast, wherever you're listening. We're on all platforms. Like, subscribe, whatever. 5-star it, whatever you can do. It'd be awesome. And then you follow on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod. I would totally appreciate it. So hopefully you guys have a good weekend. I'll let you know how I play on next week's show. And before I go, just a reminder, check out Titleist.com for the brand new Pro V1, Pro V1X. Again, Pro V1, more penetrating ball flight, slightly lower, long on the top end of the bag, still has a soft high spin feel around the green. Pro V1X flies a little bit higher. Drop and stop control, high spin around the greens, still fairly low spin in the long game for longer drives. So check out Titleist.com for the Pro V1 and Pro V1X. But that's all I've got, and we'll talk to you guys next weekend. Hopefully you have a good week.